media are bombarded by the politicians to try to
break the bullying. The bullying doesn't control them. I want to ask you, because I agree with you, another great turning's coming. They know a time of great change is coming. They're trying to stop that. What do you expect to see in the future? What will Obama do? What are you watching on your radar? Pastor Manning is our guest. Atla.org. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com. Stay with us. You know, our founders in this country were predominantly Christians. They're predominantly Protestants. Nothing against Catholics. I don't get into that whole bash fest. But they really wanted to build a free world, and they tried to end the evils of slavery in Europe. And England finally did end it, and ended it worldwide, put ships on the seas for 50 years to kill anybody that was running slaves. And then America tried to end it in 1776, but couldn't. And we ended up having a horrible civil war that killed over 1 million people. But you notice in the modern age, they always point at America's evils, but not that slavery's going on in the Middle East right now. The women are slaves. And I raise that point every day because they're demonizing the idea of Christ illuminating us. You go, well, Illuminati, that's the Illuminati. No, the globalists saw our revolution, the Jacobins, they created the French Revolution. They created a counterfeit to the Christians that wanted to bring light to the world, who wanted to truly build a new world. They knew they couldn't end all that corruption in that system. They tried to set up a new one, and it wasn't perfect either, but it had the idea to reach for something better. And that's why you only hear about the sins of America or the West, because the globalists are against that, because they want to go back to tyranny, back to older and Western tyranny, similar to what Rome had. Absolute rule, absolute control. And that's where we're going today. And I simply don't like seeing people oppressed or controlled. And I see the social justice warriors. I'm going to ask Pastor Manning about this in a moment. We have like, it's got to be 15, 20 videos or more. New ones are going up every 10 minutes. Biggs is just doing a great job by himself. We didn't have the crew. We're short on crew right now because folks are on vacation. And he wanted to go out to California to follow the social justice warriors at universities where any libertarians or Christians or conservatives speak. They come to shut it down. Or even folks that are concerned about liberals are putting this on. I'd call the guy part liberal from Breitbart, their tech editor, who is, you know, against them trying to ban free speech, even though he is AKA a homosexual. They don't even want to let him speak. So these people are anti-free speech. And I think that's going to be their answer to the new enlightenment, the new renaissance of awakening and empowerment that we're starting to see happen worldwide, because things got to get bad before they get better. We're going to talk to Pastor Manning here in just a moment. I want to have your quick questions or comments for Pastor Manning here in about 10 minutes. 800-259-9231. Just want to get a bunch of you on. 800-259-9231. Pastor Manning will be with us about 5 after next hour. Then Joe Biggs is going to be joining us from the ground in the middle of this. He's already been to 2 universities. It's total bedlam. These people are attacking, screaming racist. They're mainly white people. Screaming, you're a white male, you're not allowed to speak. I mean, it is the most bizarre stuff you've ever seen. It's like that Guardian guy that is, you know, saying that whites are inherently evil, and the guy looks like he's like 80% Anglo. It's just a reverse mental illness racism. I want to ask Pastor Manning what he calls it. I call it divide and conquer, but we're going to be talking about that in just a minute. Now, briefly, we are listener supported. I'm going to leave it at that. So is Pastor Manning with his broadcast, what he does, feeding hundreds of children and youth a day, really waking up Harlem. He's a great place for you to support as well. He didn't pay me to say that. I get guests on I admire and I appreciate, and that I think you ought to know about. It's hard for me to find good churches to tithe to. I do give the Salvation Army and to some small country churches and things, but most of these big mega churches are just sold out to make everybody feel good and not stand, you know. Find a church that goes and protests abortion clinics. That's where you ought to be giving money. Or a place that feeds poor people. Or a place that goes and gets bums off the street and tries to rehabilitate them. You know, that's what this comes down to. And he's doing it. So, Atla.org, I think folks should support him. If you really want to bring some light to Harlem, and he's already brought a lot of light with his great congregation. They're very exciting. And we need to be supported. And our local affiliates need to be supported. We have the new Alexa Pure Breeze, energy efficient, HEPA, ion cluster air purification system. This is the highest rated. There are similar units that are upwards of $1,000. This is normally 200 and something bucks. It's $184 introductory offer. 4-stage purification process for superior air quality. Patented ion cluster technology kills airborne microbes with a final byproduct of clean water, no ozone. That's good, because all those ozone machines are toxic in my view. I mean, I know when something making me feel sick. Intelligent air quality sensor and indicators, easier to clean and maintain, silent mode, 16 dB, quieter than the Whisper, energy efficient, cycles 120 feet every 12 minutes, air change per hour, ACH exceeds Allergy and Asthma Foundation recommendations, space-saving design, about the size of a large briefcase, perfect for rooms up to 800 square feet, one purification unit with ion cluster technology, one pre-filter, one true HEPA filter, one carbon-activated filter. And these last a long time. You can also clean them. We have a breakdown of them up against leading competitors. It's just amazing. The innovation. We only bring in the very best sponsors. We direct sell this to you from the manufacturer in Utah. They're patriots, so it's a win-win-win. Support the show, support American industry, support your family. InfoWarsStore.com, and I'd buy one of these for every room. Just buy one, see if you like it, and then get more. It's truly amazing. They make great water filters, Alexa Pure as well, 10% off with promo code WATER. We've got a lot of other great products at InfoWarsLife.com. Brain Force is an amazing nootropic, totally natural, and just boosts normal brain activity. Quite frankly, it's so powerful, I only take it if I've got to work at night. I mean, I've had one cup of coffee today, and I'm bouncing off the walls. So I don't need more energy with Super Male Vitality and X2. But if you want to kick in the pants, this is it. It's like my buddy took 3 knockouts last night, and he could hardly get up this morning. So when you take our sleep aid, I wouldn't take more than 2, folks. Anthroplex is back in stock. It's basically like the powder version, lower price but high quality of Super Male Vitality. Secret 12 is the highest quality methylcobalamin vitamin B12. That's available at InfoWarsLife.com as well. So thank you so much again for joining us. I don't do a plug every segment like most hosts. I do like a 5-minute plug each hour. And please support us, because you are what allows us to continue on, and we're all in this together. And I want to thank you all and salute you all for your support, your prayers, most importantly, and then, of course, spreading the word about the broadcast. They're trying to censor us. They're globally announcing censorship, and that's what I want to turn to now. They have somehow taken liberals who had a lot of good ideas about empowering everybody, giving everybody a shot. They just stole the Christian ethic of the abolitionist. That wasn't just here. That was in Europe. And that's what happened. And they just turned it into a social justice warrior thing now, where they want to get rid of speech and the right of assembly and Christians' rights in the name of total equality. Now you can't say mother or father on government forums or say it in school, literally, because that might hurt somebody who doesn't have a mother or father. See, now you can't have something because somebody else doesn't have it. This is going into pure communism. While the elite are offshore and, have billions of dollars and red carpets. It's so hypocritical. But they're also promoting globally with Facebook and others, with the EU, to start just don't criticize Islam, we're going to arrest you or kick you off Facebook. The global initiative to censor is now here because they want to hold back humanity wanting choice, wanting true diversity, wanting the power to discriminate. Yeah, it's wrong to discriminate against somebody just because they're a woman or they're a man or they're white or they're black or whatever. But to say, I go to this restaurant because their food's better than the other restaurant where I get food poisoning, that's discrimination. If you're walking down the street and there's potholes and you step over one so you don't get your shoes wet, that's discrimination. If you hire somebody and that you catch them stealing a day after, discrimination is just knowing what's going on. So they've twisted words, and I think we're going to see a huge reign of censorship. My response is don't give into it. But Pastor Manning, you've got the floor the next 10 minutes or so before we go to calls. Correct me if I'm wrong. Augment that. Take your time. Walk through how you think they're going to counter-strike this huge global awakening that's happening, sir.
But a couple of things, Alex. I think that we need to be very mindful of a post-Obama era. And one of the things that I've noticed about the recent activities of Obama, number one, was that the first of a president to visit some maximum security prisons and to begin to hammer the judges, the Supreme Courts, and the federal courts to release their sentence practices on prisoners and to try to reverse some of the sentences that have already been handed down, given the opportunity for many of these prisoners, people that are in prison that are inculcated with Islam, because black men that go to prison learn about Islam. It's very pervasive in the prisons, but also black men that go to prison and white folk, they are very inculcated with the whole idea of hating America. And they already before going to prison to become criminals, they had a warped sense of what is right and what is wrong in a warped sense of justice. I'm very concerned now as well that the movie industry has all of a sudden released a remake of the 1970s edition of the 8-segment movie of Roots that stirred the hearts of young men, that sent men to prison in large numbers. Roots, as a documentary declaring that it was authentic, demonstrating the horrific or alleged horrific events that happened to black people with the slave trade, where most of the slave trade went on in Africa with blacks on blacks. That having been said, that I see a storm coming with the releasing of Roots.
Oh, the media is hyping race war 24/7 everywhere.
Yeah, well,
and no one's defending European slavery. But exactly, no one talks about that. Everybody's done it. It's wrong. It's evil. Humans are wicked. We should repent. But they are just hyping it. What's going on?
Well, I think that we're going to see the release of a lot of prisoners, and I think that most Americans are locked and loaded and ready to deal with whatever come down.
I was about to ask you, what do you think this move by Obama, because obviously there's a lot of nonviolent people in prison should be let out, but what about this push to let violent felons out? What's behind that?
Because I think that he wants to return to a period of the 1960s, the 60s and the 70s, where the Black Panthers, where the Mau Maus, where black liberation groups, if you will, were very prevalent. That mindset is still locked away in prison. What you have today with the rappers, young black men that are rappers and wear their pants below their butts, they don't have that kind of mindset and hatred against America. I think that Obama's setting up preachers to come back from the community, from the prisons, and reignite the communities. And I would say anybody living within 100 to 150 miles of a major urban area need to get prepared to see the rioting. If anything goes amiss or awry with Obama, or somehow or another Obama or something done to Obama's political ideas, such as the removal of Obamacare. I mean, listen, Alex, if Trump or anyone else were to take down Obamacare and it effectively goes away, you can see these people coming from prison now training young men who now wear their pants below their butts, rapping but really having no teeth, now beginning to look like the 60s, the mid-60s, and the early 70s when it comes to
so the Viacom CIA-run weapon system is activating the Beyoncés and all the rest of the folks to, say, go out and kill the pigs.
Yeah, so but not just pigs, but people that are part. For instance, if you are a part of the whole idea that
Sure, and that'll cause a giant counter oppression of black people just trying to, live the American dream.
Absolutely. So I cannot imagine that this is not going to take place. I can't see how I don't think Obama would have gone to the prisons unless he wanted to indicate to judges everywhere. And most of the federal and state judges are very liberal. And if Obama says that the penal system has been oppressive, you're going to see cases coming back before the courts. You're going to see parole officers releasing people who normally would be kept in prison.
And they're going to make room for the libertarians, the patriots, the Christians, who they're now throwing the book at as the new enemy.
Absolutely. So I think we need to be very mindful of this, and we need to be mindful of this catalyst now being released in this Roots presentation. It's not good, Alex. It's not good for America.
And we have new listeners. The Justice Department announced last month that they're moving to basically tell judges and others, we're going to prosecute you or come after prosecutors if you don't let people off or let folks out of prison. And again, these are mainly violent folks they're talking about. I'm all for letting nonviolent people out, but no, they're saying, period, just start letting people out.
Absolutely. Because I think Obama wants to have a different kind of a brown shirts, if you remember that, from back in 2008 and 2009, militia, rather than what would have been what the initial idea of brown shirts all about. I can't imagine Obama walking away from power, Alex. I can't imagine. I've told you this 8 years ago.
So you think letting the prisoners out like the Soviets and like the Nazis, when the Nazis took over, they released all the people out of the prisons that were aligned with the National Socialists, hundreds of thousands of them, and put them in charge? Listen,
when Castro released the prisoners during the Mariel boat lift from Cuba, they all flooded into Miami, into Florida, and then across over to Texas. that was the real start of the major drug problems in America, because and many of them were psychopaths that came out of the prisons in Cuba. So I think that what we see happening, Alex, I just can't imagine Obama walking away from power and riding off into the sunset when he knows right now he's got the courts, he's got the Supreme Court.